Okay, so urgent. I need you to know about this person. And before you scroll past this thinking it's not for you, it found you right now, in this exact moment, for a reason. And I need you to trust that for the next few minutes, because what's about to come through is shocking. It's specific and it's been placed here in perfect timing. Not random timing, perfect timing. You didn't stumble onto this video. Something in you, some quiet pull you cannot even explain, brought you here today, at this hour, scrolling at this exact second to hear this exact message about this exact person who has been sitting in the dark of your mind, in the back of your mind. So just take a breath with me for a second, because I promise you by the end of this, you are going to understand exactly why you were led here. I want you to think of someone right now. Don't overthink it, don't second guess it. Just let the name or the face rise up on its own. It's probably already there before I even finish the sentence, right? That's not coincidence. That's the whole point of this message. There is a person, a specific human being, who has been occupying space in your mind, your heart, your energy, way more than you've been letting yourself admit out loud. And I'm being shown very clearly that this isn't some light passing thought. This is something deeper. This is something that's been quietly shaping your days without you even fully clocking it. So let's just sit in that truth for a second, because here's the thing nobody tells you about this kind of connection. It doesn't always look dramatic on the outside. From the outside, it might look like nothing. It might look like you are just going about your day, your normal life, working, texting your friends, making your coffee, scrolling your phone. But underneath all of that, there is this current running, a low hum, and every now and then something happens. A song comes on, a smell hits you out of nowhere. You see a number that keeps repeating, or just randomly think of them at 11:11. And your whole body goes still for a second. That's not your imagination being dramatic. That's real. That's information. That's your system picking up on something that your logical mind hasn't caught up yet. And here is what's wild. This message isn't coming through soft today. It's coming through urgent, because something is shifting right now in real time around this connection. Whatever has been sitting dormant, whatever has been on pause, whatever you've been quietly wondering about and not saying to anyone, it's activating, it's moving, and it's moving faster than you expect, which is exactly why this needed to reach you today, and not next week, not next month, today. Let me paint the picture a little more, because I want you to really feel this, not just hear it. I'm sensing that you've had moments, maybe late at night, maybe in the shower, maybe driving alone with the radio off, where you've caught yourself having a full conversation with this person in your head. things you'd say if you had the guts, things you wish they understood about you, things you are scared to say because you don't know how they'd react, how they'd take it. You've rehearsed it maybe more than once, and every time you do, you tell yourself afterward, okay, that's enough. Stop thinking about this. And then a day later, you are right back there again. I see that loop. I see you trying to talk yourself out of feeling what you are feeling. And I need you to know that loop wasn't weakness. It wasn't crazy. It's your intuition trying to get your attention because something real is happening here, something that matters. Now, here's where it gets interesting because this isn't a simple, easy, straightforward connection. It is, if it were simple, you wouldn't need message like this. You'd already know what to do. What I'm picking up is layered. There is real warmth here, real care, real, maybe even real story. But there is also confusion. There is also this sense of something not lining up cleanly. Like one moment everything feels aligned and easy, and the next moment there is distance. There is static. There is this weird emotional fog that neither of you can quite explain. And that inconsistency has had you spinning. You've probably gone back and forth in your own head 100 times. Is this real? Is it not? Are they feeling it too? And I am making it bigger than it should. I just let it go. I want to gently interrupt that spiral right now because the answer isn't as complicated as your mind has made it. What's happening in this situation is this: two people, two energies, two whole entire life stories are intersecting at the point where both of you are being asked to grow. This connection isn't just about romance or friendship or whatever label you want to put on it. It's bigger than that. It is a mirror. This person is reflecting something back to you about yourself that you've been needing to see for a while. And that's exactly why it feels so intense, why it sticks with you, why you cannot just shrug it off like every other person who's passed through your life. Think about it for a second. How many people have come and gone without leaving a mark? Plenty, right? No mark. But this one stayed. This one keeps showing up in your thoughts, your dreams, your random daydreams in the middle of the day. That staying power is the message in itself. Spirit doesn't waste your attention. If something keeps returning to you, it's because there is something there worth paying attention to, worth understanding, worth finishing. Now, I do want to be honest with you, because I'm not here to just tell you what feels good. I'm here to tell you what's true. Part of what's coming through is that there has been some kind of miscommunication or some kind of unspoken tension between you and this person. Maybe words were left unsaid. Maybe there was a moment where one of you pulled back out of fear instead of moving forward out of honesty. I keep getting this sense of two people standing close to each other, but with this invisible wall between them, both wanting to reach through it, both too afraid to be the one to go first. Does that felt familiar? I think it does. I think you already know exactly which moment I'm talking about. The one where you almost said something and didn't, and the one where they almost reached out and they went quiet instead. Here's the part that's going to feel uncomfortable, but it needs to be said. Some of that distance has been self-protection, yours and theirs. Somewhere along the way, one or both of you got hurt, maybe not even by each other, maybe by old situations, old relationships, old wounds that have nothing to do with this connection directly, but everything to do with how you are both showing up in it. You have built a wall because trusting fully has cost you before. And this person, whether they show it or not, has their own version of that same wall. So, what looks like distance, what looks like mixed signals, what looks like confusion is actually two guarded people circling something real, trying to figure out if it's safe to put the armor down. And that's exactly why this message had to come through with urgency. Because right now, today, this week, there is a window. There is a shift happening in the energy between you two, whether you have consciously felt it or not. Old patterns are loosening. Whatever has been stuck is starting to move. And the choice in front of you isn't about chasing or forcing anything. It's about whether you're willing to stop performing distance you do not actually feel and start showing up as exactly who you are, fears and all. I keep hearing the word timing over and over again as I sit with this. Timing, timing, timing. Not your timing in the way you've been planning it out in your head. When you will text them, when you will bring something up, when you will finally say the thing you've been holding in. I mean a bigger timing, a timing that's already been in motion, set in motion. And you are simply being asked to notice it instead of resist it. There is a reason this is surfacing now, and not next month ago, not 6 months from now. Something in both of your lives has shifted enough, matured enough, healed enough, that this connection is finally ready to be looked at honestly. Let's talk about what this person might actually be feeling, because I know that's the part you really want to know. I'm sensing that they think about you more than they let on. There is tendency here to downplay, to act unaffected, to keep things light on the surface while something heavier moves underneath. This isn't necessarily about hiding something from you on purpose. It's more than they do not fully know what to do with how much you actually occupy their thoughts. There might be pride involved. There might be old fear of rejection involved. There might be some past experience where they put themselves out there and got burned And now there is this instinct to protect themselves by staying just slightly out of reach, just slightly non-committal, just slightly unavailable, even while their attention keeps drifting back to you constantly. I also want to acknowledge, because I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't, that this connection might come with some real complexity. Maybe there is timing that isn't fully clean. Other circumstances, other obligations, things that are genuinely complicated and not just excuses. I'm not going to pretend every connection like this is simple, because that wouldn't be honest. What I'm being shown is that complexity doesn't mean it's wrong. Complexity just means it requires patience, requires honesty, requires both of you choosing and again to keep showing up every morning, even when it would be easier to walk away. Here's something I really want you to sit with. You have been carrying a lot of this alone. You haven't told the full truth of how much this affects you to your friends, maybe not even to yourself fully. You minimize it in conversation. You say things like, it's not a big deal, or I'm not even thinking about it that much, while internally you are replaying every interaction on a loop. I see you doing this. And I want to gently call it out, not to embarrass you, but because carrying it alone is part of what's keeping you stuck. Naming something honestly, even just to yourself in the quiet of your own room, has power. It takes it out of the shadows and into the light, and things that live in the light are so much easier to actually deal with than things you keep showing down. There is also something coming through about a pattern, something bigger than just this one person. I am sensing that this situation is connected to a pattern you've lived out before. A pattern of holding back, of waiting for the other person to make the first move, of protecting your heart so well that sometimes you protect it right out of the experience of actually being loved the way you want to be loved. Let me pause here. This person, this exact situation is bringing that pattern right up to the surface, so you can finally see it clearly instead of just feeling its effects without understanding where they come from. That's actually a gift, even though it might not feel like one right now. You cannot change a pattern you cannot see. And right now, you are being shown the pattern in full color through this one relationship, so that you have the chance to do something different this time. I keep getting pulled toward this image of a door, just a plain door, slightly open, light coming through the crack, not wide open, not slammed shut, just open enough that you could push it the rest of the way if you wanted to. That's exactly where this connection sits right now. It's not closed. I want to say that clearly because I know part of you has been bracing for rejection, bracing for the worst, telling yourself it's probably nothing, it's probably already over before it even really started. That's the fear talking, not the truth. The truth is the door is open. What happens next depends on whether you are willing to walk through it instead of standing outside wondering what's on the other side. I also feel like I need to address the people around you because this affects more than just you and this one person. There may be someone in your circle, a friend, a family member who has opinions about this situation, who maybe doesn't fully understand it, who might even be sadly discouraging you from leaning in. I want you to take outside opinions with a grain of salt right now. People can only see this situation through the lens of their own experiences, their own heartbreaks, their own fears, and sometimes well-meaning advice is actually just someone else's old wound talking. You know this connection better than anyone standing on the outside looking in. Trust what you feel over what other people assume. Trust your intuition, trust your gut, trust yourself. Now let's talk about when you actually lean into this instead of staying stuck in the loop of overthinking. The moment you stop performing indifference, the moment you let yourself be honest, even in a small way, even just one text, one conversation, one moment of saying what's actually true instead of what feels safe, something in the entire dynamic changes. Energy moves when truth moves. Right now, there is a kind of stagnation because both of you are circling the same unspoken thing, both waiting, both protecting, both hoping the other person takes it easy. Someone has to go first. And I'm being shown very clearly that it doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It can be small, it can be quiet, it can be one honest sentence that finally breaks the pattern of silence that's been running this whole thing. I want to talk for a second about fear, actually, because fear is the real obstacle here, not the other person, not timing, not circumstances. Fear of being too much. Fear of finding out they do not feel the same. Fear of running something good by naming it out loud. Fear of being vulnerable after being hurt before. All of that is valid. None of it makes you weak. But I need you to understand something important. Staying silent doesn't actually protect you from pain. It just delays it and usually makes it bigger. The pain of never knowing, the pain of watching this connection drift because nobody had the courage to say anything real. That pain lingers so much longer than the temporary discomfort of one honest conversation. You already know this on some level. That's part of why this message hit you so hard just now. Let's also talk about self-worth for a second. Because this whole situation is tangled up with how you see yourself. Somewhere in you, there is a quiet belief that you have to earn this person's attention, earn their consistency, earn their honesty by being easy, by not asking for too much, by shrinking the parts of you that feel intense or needy or vulnerable. I need you to release that belief right now. because it's not true and it's not serving you. You do not have to earn basic honesty from someone. You don't have to shrink yourself to be considered worth choosing. The right dynamic with this person, it's if it's meant to fully unfold, will include both of you being fully yourself, not edited versions, not careful versions, the real ones. I'm being shown that there is a conversation coming, whether you initiate it or not, or whether circumstances eventually force it into the open. Something is going to come to a head here, probably sooner than you think, maybe within days, maybe within a couple of weeks. And when that moment comes, I want you to remember everything you are hearing right now. That the door is open, that you are not alone in feeling this, that the fear you are carrying is not a sign to retreat, but a sign that something real is on the other side of it. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's choosing honesty anyway, even with the fear still sitting right there in your chest. There is also a healing piece of to this that I don't want to skip over. Whatever has been difficult about this connection, whatever the confusion or hurt or waiting has happened up until now, none of it is wasted. Every bit of it has been teaching you something about patience, about communication, about how you handle uncertainty, about what you actually need from people instead of what you have settled for in the past. Even if this specific situation doesn't unfold exactly the way you are hoping, the growth you've gone through because of it is permanent. Yeah, and it's real. You're not the same person you were before this person came into your awareness. You have gotten more honest with yourself. You've started questioning old patterns instead of just repeating them blindly. That alone is huge, and it's something nobody can take away from you, regardless of how the rest plays out. I keep hearing the phrase, trust the timing, repeated, almost like it's being placed in front of me on purpose, because I think you need to hear it more than once. Trust the timing, trust the timing. Not your anxious timeline, not the one your mind keeps constructing where you panic if things don't move at the exact pace you want. The actual real timing, the one that's unfolding underneath the surface, whether you can see it or not. Things are moving. I promise you, things are moving even on days where it feels completely silent and stagnant. Energy doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes the biggest shifts happen quietly, right before everything changes all at once. I also want to gently remind you that you deserve clarity. You deserve to not live in this constant state of guessing, wondering, over-analyzing every text, every silence, every mixed signal. That confusion has worn you down more than you've probably admitted to anyone, maybe more than you've even admitted to yourself. And the way out of that confusion isn't more waiting, more hoping, more silent analyzing. The way out of it is honest communication. Even if it's scary, even if it doesn't go perfectly, even if your voice shakes a little when you finally say what you mean. Clarity, even painful clarity, is so much more peaceful to live with than this constant in between you've been existing in. So here's what I want you to actually do with this message. Because information without action doesn't change anything. I want you to stop minimizing what you feel. Stop telling yourself it's silly or too much or not that deep. It is deep. That's exactly why it found its way to the surface today. I want you to find one small way to be honest, whether that's with this person directly or just honest with yourself in writing it down, naming exactly what you want, exactly what you're afraid of, exactly what you've been so scared to say. Truth has a way of organizing energy. The moment you stop avoiding it, things start to move in a direction that finally makes sense. And I want you to release the outcome a little bit. I know that sounds contradictory after everything I just said about taking action, but it's not. Take the honest step. Say the honest thing. Show up as yourself. And then let go of needing to control exactly how the other person responds. You cannot make someone meet you with the same level of honesty you are offering. What you can do is stop abandoning yourself in the name of protecting a connection that might need you to be brave in order to actually become what it's capable of becoming. If they meet you there, beautiful. That's the door swinging fully open. If they don't, right away, that doesn't mean it's over. It might just mean they need a little more time to catch up to what you've already figured out. Either way, you walk away from this knowing you didn't shrink, you didn't hide, you didn't let fear write the whole story. And one more thing, I keep coming back to this feeling of relief, like a held breath finally being let out. And I think that's what's waiting for you on the other side of this. Not drama, not chaos, just relief. The relief of finally seeing the thing, the relief of finally getting clarity instead of living in the gray area, the relief of realizing that whatever happens next, you handled it with honesty instead of letting fear run the whole show like it has in other moments of your life. Before I close this out, I want to say one more thing, I promise, because I think it matters just as much as anything else in this message. However this unfolds with this particular person, the real shift happening right now is inside you. You are learning in real time how to stop abandoning your own truth to keep the peace. You are learning how to sit with the uncertainty without spiraling completely. You are learning that being vulnerable doesn't make you weak. It makes you someone capable of real connection instead of just safe, surface level ones. That lesson is going to ripple out into every relationship you have for the rest of your life, not just this one. So, even if part of you came into this message hoping for a simple answer about whether this person likes you back or not, what you're actually walking away with is something so much bigger than that. You are walking away with a piece of yourself you didn't fully have access to before. So, take a breath. Let this settle. You were led here exactly when you needed to hear it, about exactly the person you needed to hear it about. And now it's in your hands what you do with it. Trust what you felt while listening to this. Trust the moments where your chest got tight or your eyes welled up a little. Because that reaction is information too. It's confirmation. It's your own inner knowing, recognizing the truth even before your mind fully caught up. The timing is divine. The message found you on purpose. And now the next move, the next honest move, however small, is yours to make. You've got this. I believe that completely, and I think somewhere underneath all the doubt, you're starting to believe it too. You've got this.